This is a classroom for bees where they are not just petted, but actually trained. Sitting inside a circuit board, these honeybees will act as digital sensors after their training. A sensor capable of easily detecting explosives and drugs. It is quite difficult to think and understand how a tiny insect like a bee can efficiently detect explosives and drugs, and then how it sends its signal to humans. But this is a reality, and it is indeed possible. In the ASTV video, once again, this training begins in beehives, where a device is first used to select the bees. After being gathered in this device, they are shifted to a lab, where their training process starts. Once taken out of the hive, they become very violent, so first, they are placed in a refrigerator to cool them down, reducing their movement. After cooling, they are carefully held and placed in a harness, which prevents them from flying but keeps their faces exposed. They are then left in this harness for 30 minutes to adjust to their new environment. Loading each bee into a harness by hand is very time-consuming. So many laboratories use machines for this process. Over the next 2 days, these bees undergo training. This training is quite similar to how dogs are trained to detect drugs and explosives. Just like dogs, bees have an incredible sense of smell. Both of these creatures can detect their targets from miles away. If dogs are to be trained for explosive detection, they are introduced to explosive powder at a very young age. Whenever a dog smells the explosive, it is rewarded with food. Great care is taken to ensure that dogs are not fed without first smelling the explosive. Over time, the dog understands that it will only receive food if it detects explosives. Using this psychology, dogs are later employed at airports for explosive detection. When a trained dog smells explosives in luggage, it instinctively sticks out its tongue in front of its trainer, expecting a reward. Even if there are no explosives, trainers still make them smell an explosive first, and then give food. But how do bees do this job? How do they signal to humans that they have detected explosives or drugs? As we all know, bees suck nectar from flowers. When they smell flowers, they instinctively stick out their tongues. Their tongues function like straws, allowing them to suck liquid. Changing their habit of sticking out their tongues at the smell of flowers is not difficult. Once the bees have been in the harness for some time, they are shortlisted. Shortlisting is done by placing a cotton bud soaked in sweet water in front of them. The bees interested in sucking the sweet water extend their tongues, and these bees are then shortlisted for the next phase of training. Now, these shortlisted bees are exposed to explosive vapors for 6 seconds. In the last 3 seconds, they are given a cotton bud soaked in sweet water. This process is automatically managed by a machine. Within a few hours, the bees are fully trained. They learn that immediately after smelling this specific explosive scent, they will receive a reward of sweet water. As a result, whenever they smell this particular scent, they automatically stick out their tongues. At this point, the bees are completely trained. They are then removed from the harness and released into a container. This training process is repeated with new batches of bees. This training can be provided not only for explosives but also for narcotics detection. But now comes the challenge. Humans can see a bee's tongue under a microscope, but practically, in airports and sensitive areas, this is not possible. So, a solution is required where a machine can also detect when a bee has smelled an explosive and extended its tongue. There are several possible solutions, one of which is video processing. Yes, bees are fitted into harnesses and placed inside a monitoring device. The microcameras in this device monitor the bees. When a bee sticks out its tongue, the video processing system detects it and immediately displays an alarm on the screen. At the same time, the machine presents the reward of sweet water to the bees. Besides cameras, another method involves infrared light. Infrared light is positioned under the bee's face, so that whenever the tongue is extended, the light reaching the sensor decreases. When this happens, the light sensor detects that the bee has extended its tongue. Using this method, 36 trained bees are placed inside a handheld device, which security personnel hold near a passenger's bag for 6 seconds. If the bag contains drugs or explosives, a red alarm instantly appears on the screen. Now, if we compare the capabilities of dogs and bees, several key differences emerge. Training a dog takes several years, whereas a bee can be trained in just a few hours. Not only that, but the cost of training bees is significantly lower than that of dogs. Furthermore, there are many situations where using dogs is impossible, such as detecting landmines buried underground. Landmines detonate when subjected to even the slightest pressure, making them unsuitable for detection by dogs. Instead, trained bees are released over a suspected minefield, and drones monitor them. If the bees detect an explosive smell, they hover around the area in anticipation of their reward: sweet water. This reaction is observed live through cameras, and experts then arrive at the spot, reward the bees, and neutralize the landmine. But not just trained dogs and bees. History has seen many other animals used in military operations for security purposes. These animals have proven to be extremely useful. We hope you enjoyed this video from B. Don't forget to like, share, and leave your valuable comments. Thank you for your love and support. See you in the next amazing video.